Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear you this morning. We have a special guest in the studio, but first, let's take care of our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and the hard-working crew up there in Southport. And we're glad to have them as our sponsor. We're looking at a high today of 86 and low of 70, and the water temperature has dropped 1 more degree. It's down to 82 degrees. That's the lowest it's been since back in June, early June. So we're looking at the river readings now, brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. The Apalachicola Bluntstown. Take a look at it, folks. It's got a nice steady drop. It's reading this morning a 10.1. Let's go over to Choctawhatchee River. The reading up there, there's going to be 6.8 at Caryville. Now it's going to work on down to Ebro, but it's dropping. Both rivers are dropping a little bit. Looks like a good week to be on the rivers, and it's going to be some really nice fish caught. Looking at a tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Looking at a good strong tide today. We're looking at a good week of tides. Today's the 28th. It's dropping out. It's going to be a high of 140 this morning, dropping out all morning, and then coming on in to about 2:30 this afternoon will be the high tide. Then dropping out. If you get off work early, you can go hit that falling tide real quick. Our wind direction will be coming out of southwest at about 6, so just a minimal influence of the wind today. That takes care of our weather. Let's take a break, come back with our special guest. Welcome back, folks, and welcome to our guest this morning, Michael Jarman.
Hi, nice to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Mr.
Great to have you on the show. Michael is a Panama City Beach Councilman, Ward 4, and he's on the show today. We're going to talk about some things later from one of the questions from one of our viewers. We're going to talk about a situation about the freshwater runoff and all about what the beach is doing about it. But let's get to know Michael. He's got a great background, went to Bay High School, but a lot of folks know your family. They know your dad from fishing, probably.
Right.
Tell folks who your dad is.
My dad is Lee Jarman. He's a big speckled trout fisherman. Been doing it for many years.
Very successful. He catches a lot of big fish.
He has been known to catch a few fish.
He's won some tournaments back in the day. We had a lot of tournaments and all, but Brown Fire Extinguishing, that's y'all's business, Brown?
Yeah, my grandfather started Brown Fire Protection in 1972. He started it because he had some apartments on the beach behind the house on Thomas Drive, and could not get the one company to come out and inspect the fire extinguishers. And back then, you could do it yourself, and that's what he ended up doing.
So he just took it on his own wings and just started doing it himself then.
Yep, kind of out of frustration.
Isn't that amazing how a very successful business, been there since what year, 70s?
72.
Since 72. And it just started out of necessity. I love that story. I mean, that's American entrepreneurship, and very successful. And you're the third generation.
Third generation
running the business. So that's good. Well, how did you get into politics or running for council for ward and all?
Well, I've always been interested in it, even after I got out of college. And but things happened. Moved away, got married, had kids, moved back, and then. Decided that this was a good time and the opportunity presented itself, and I love serving the community and trying to do what's best for the community and what's right.
Well, that is awesome. And you like to fish yourself?
I do. I don't have as much time as my dad, but I do like to get out there and do some speckled trout fishing.
Well, you're learning from one of the best right there.
Yep. Yeah, he and my son right now are in that St. Anderson or Captain Anderson's tournament.
Oh, good,
yep.
Good. We need to talk about that too later on. Well, that's good. Okay, so what happened? We had a question from one of our viewers a couple weeks ago, and it was asking us to find out about what was going on about freshwater running off by the Panama City Beach Pier and all. And I threw the question out and read it on air. And sure enough, it got back to the councilmen and all, and we want to find out what's going on, and because we all want to take care of our environment. I mean, fishermen and everybody does. So that's the basis of inviting him on, and he had a lot of good information. So when y'all started looking at this, one of the first things you did was go to Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, I spent a couple days in Myrtle Beach. I made a bunch of appointments to sit down with engineers, the public works director. I also got in contact with a marine biologist that did the studies when Myrtle Beach was first doing their first outfall back in, I believe, 2004, doing water quality studies.
Okay.
To try and do as much research as I could as to the pluses and minuses of these projects.
So you found out at Myrtle Beach had it, that they sort of did the groundwork on it and all, and their reason was just trying to get that water out there, out of the area to clean it out.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach's big problem was bacterial load. And unfortunately, when the stormwater goes straight onto the beach, it can create pools. Birds and animals get in there, and that increases the bacterial load. And what they were having a problem with is it was getting so high and running into the surf that the beaches were getting shut down. It was deemed unsafe because the surf did not do a good job of killing the bacteria. There's limited water supply right at the surf line. So to rectify that, they designed these outfalls to go 1,000, 1,500 feet out and disperse the water there, where you have a larger volume of water, and the salt water kills the bacteria.
Well, that's interesting that they found out what was causing the beach closures. I mean, the bacteria was running that off.
And we have continuous studies of our beaches here for that same bacterial load.
What has been their success rate as far as once they establish? When do they do theirs about?
Well, they've got, I believe, 10 done now.
10?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
And they're set up a little different. The way Myrtle Beach has, or their storm water, is at every perpendicular street on their beach drive, or Ocean Drive, I believe is what it's called, is an outfall onto the beach. We don't have that many.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, they have a lot.
That's interesting. Okay, so we're going to take a break. We've got some pictures to show you, some slides to show you on this presentation here, and this is just helping us become more knowledgeable in our outdoors and our environment right here. So let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Today with Michael Jarman, councilman at Ward 4 at Panama City Beach, and coming on and sharing some good information with us about what's going on with now we're going to call these the outfalls, okay? Right. But now keep this in mind. He just helped clarify this. You have sewage runoff outfalls and stormwater, and this don't have anything to do with sewage. This is stormwater outfall.
That is correct.
Okay, so how do we get started? We say the community get started in looking at these.
Well, this has been something that staff has been looking at for quite some time. The city's never had the funding to do it. They're very expensive. We're very fortunate this year that Governor DeSantis came down and gave us a grant for over $21 million specifically for this project.
Okay. All right, we got some slides that Michael brought. We're going to look at some of these best management. So basically, what we call best management practices. So tell us sort of a little bit about this.
Sure. One of the concerns people have is pollution concerns. Currently, the outfalls that dump onto the beach have no filtration whatsoever. They just freely flow onto the beach.
Right.
With the outfall project, we would be looking at installing what's called a water vault, which allows us to collect debris and floatables through a baffled filtration system. It also allows the catch, as you can see through the snout, of greases. We can install bioskirts that reduce the oil, grease, and bacteria. The city now has street sweeping to reduce debris on the roads that might get washed into the stormwater system, and a vacuum truck. We can also, if needed, introduce some medium that would reduce nitrates and phosphorus if needed.
Okay, so that's your best management practice as far as that. So let's see, we got that twice. Permitting now. I know, just being in the field of education, you had to have permission. You had to go way up the line to get permission. It's even with government doing something like this, you probably have to go through all kind of agencies, right?
All of them, pretty much.
All
yeah.
kind of agencies. So to just get a permit now, they haven't started the process. You've started, and you're sort of doing studies now.
Right. So right now we're in engineering and studies phases. We're hoping to have all the studies done by the end of the year. After that, more permitting will be done, and we'll find out what additional things we're going to be required to do. It is a process, and as it should be.
Yeah.
And
these are all the folks you'll get a permit from, right? The permitting, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, NOAA, and U.S. Coast Guard. That's just federal.
that's just federal.
That's just federal. So, and all of those outfits have their own little things, hoops you have to jump through.
That is correct. Yep.
So then what happens after? Have you already applied? Have you already started doing stuff with this, or?
Some have.
Okay.
Like I said, we're still waiting on some more studies to be completed that are going to be required for the permitting process.
Okay.
And for the engineering process.
We want to do a show on this so we can just help explain it, help educate our public, and especially our outdoorsmen. So now you've done federal, you got that segment. What about state? So here we go with state. Here we go, Florida, okay, FDEP, okay, water management, I know that's, and then coastal and beach permit, Florida historic preservation, critical area permit, and land disturbance permit. So that's all the state you got to get.
Yep.
Now, do they, when you fill out forms and all that, or they come here and actually they put hands-on kind of stuff for these agencies? I've never known how they work.
Well, I do know that we have site visits by different agencies, but also they'll send us requirements to show, hey, we don't want this to happen. Show us the information that will prove that it will not happen, and then we have to comply with that.
Okay. Okay. So that's important there. So we got state, and then we got some slides here. I thought this was interesting on beach erosion. So tell us about what's going on with these slides here.
Sure. One of the things that these outfalls helps prevent is the erosion of the beachhead. As you can see on the picture with the lounge chairs and umbrellas,
Yeah.
that outfall water can erode down the beach and take whatever path it is easiest for it to the shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, like we had talked about before with bacteria, is when you get the pooling of that storm water, birds and animals can get in there and defecate in it and increase the bacterial load. Then you have swimmers and kids getting in that water, and that's not a good mix. This outfall project, that's one of the reasons we're wanting to do it, is it gets that water off of the beach. It reduces the bacterial load automatically because it's not there for animals to get into, and it reduces the opportunity for swimmers and kids to get sick from it.
Okay, so that's important there. So this is a good picture. Tell us where this is. Not Panama City Beach. This is Myrtle Beach. Okay.
This is after their outfall construction on one of them. As you can see, you don't even know it's there.
Where is it?
So you see the path right there by the white building?
Okay.
Yeah, that is, yep, right in there. That's where that outfall comes out.
Okay.
And
it comes underground?
It goes underground, and then it goes way out, and in this case, into the ocean.
Okay. How far out does it go?
Well, one of the studies, the plume study that we're waiting on, will tell us exactly how far out ours needs to go.
Okay.
Theirs are roughly about 1,300 to 1,500 feet.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it's all filtered, all fresh water. It's going out there as clean water, instead of other words polluted water in the just basins and all that.
Right. So that's the benefit of this project.
Okay.
Like I said, the water going out there now is not filtered whatsoever. With this outfall project, we install filtration and best practice management for pollutants, and we're able to add to it depending on what our water quality tests determine.
This next slide, you sent me the soil boring maps. Okay, so what do y'all do with this?
Yeah, so this is a good map to show where the actual outfall is projected to be installed. It is, as you can see,
Okay, this
on
is
the
the pier. Okay,
yeah, that's the city pier.
city pier on the right-hand side.
Right.
City pier. Okay.
And so it's going at about half a mile, maybe a little bit more away from the city pier.
Okay.
And once again, that are one of the plume studies is going to show exactly how far out it has to go, but it's estimating about 1,500 feet, which is about how far the pier goes out.
Okay. Okay. So this area, that's like a drain basin and all.
Well, that's low water lake right there.
Okay.
So, and then we'll have a picture of the basin maps that'll
Okay.
show that, and you'll see where the water is coming from in these two outfalls. We're
Okay.
combining Lake Town or low water lake outfall with the Calypso outfall.
Okay. That's interesting. That's good. We're going to take a final break and come back with some more really good slides for you. So we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Senator Michael Jorman, Panama City Beach Councilman. But first, let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. We're looking at our time this morning, 5:08 to 7:08 right now, and then this afternoon, 5:33 to 7:33. Take advantage of that. It's beautiful weather, it's beautiful water. You know, in the fall, Mike, we're talking about how beautiful the water looks, how clear it is in the fall.
The beach has been absolutely gorgeous.
It's been gorgeous, hasn't it? Okay, so and our goal is to keep it gorgeous and pollution free, and we're looking at a situation like this they're working on now. We're still, you know, retention ponds came in a good while back now, but when I was a kid we didn't have anything, but now we have retention ponds, and that helps reduce it big time. Y'all still got plenty of retention ponds.
We are still going to be utilizing retention ponds. The beach has one of the strictest stormwater requirements for new developments. Anybody that builds on the beach is going to be required to mitigate their own stormwater.
Okay.
The way retention ponds work is that they capture any runoff from the property, and then that allows it to disperse it as overflow at a natural rate.
Okay.
They also help to filter the water, to reduce sediment, as does low water lake.
Okay, so this picture here this is a water quality vault. Now this is a big outfit, so tell us what this does.
Yeah, that's where the filtration takes place. We're able to add additional filtration into those if needed. There's a baffled filtration system that removes large particulates. There's a trap in there that catches sediment. It really does quite a bit of work.
Okay.
And that's one of the most exciting things about the project is we're actually having the opportunity to filter it now.
Oh, cool. Now, this right here, this is, let's see, right here, 37, all right, 800 acres. Okay, tell us about this one.
So this is the basin map. This shows where the water comes from for each outfall. You have on the one side, you have low water drainage basin, that yellow line that surrounds that area. All the water from inside that yellow line drains down towards the outfall. And the other side is the Calypso drainage basin, and that water drains down. And this drains naturally according to gravity. So, I mean, even before we had the outfalls, one of the natural overflow of the water went towards the Gulf.
Okay. All right, so now I guess our bottom, okay, and here's this picture here, just shows some of the situations where some of these ponds are.
Now, some people look at the brown water and they think, oh, you know, it's some type of sewage or something like that. It is not. It's brown because of the tannic acid that's produced by decaying vegetation.
Right, right. Okay, and also we hadn't mentioned, you said that, I didn't know this either, at Myrtle Beach, at the end of the system it goes underground, but then you have a pile of big rocks or something, like a reef?
Right, so to stabilize the piping, what they'll do is they'll come in and bring in huge rocks, and when they put the pipe into the ground, they'll put ton rocks on top of it to maintain it in place, and then they'll cover that up. At the discharge point, they armor the actual discharge with a whole bunch of rocks as well.
Okay.
And that has shown, and they've got fish on them and creates artificial reefs.
Makes a reef out there.
Yep.
Because you're going to get all kind of stuff. That's interesting. Did you, when you're at Myrtle Beach, did you actually go out there and actually see,
I wasn't able to get on a boat.
Well, I know you wanted to get on
Yeah.
a boat, but you saw exactly what they were talking about. So.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Now, they're so far offshore that I couldn't even tell, I couldn't see the discharge point.
And all the municipalities are doing this basically just to have cleaner water.
Well, for us, it's cleaner water, it's cleaner beaches,
Yeah.
and then also this system has a benefit to help reduce flooding in the low water community.
Okay. So it's a win-win then for everybody. In your eyes.
That's the reason why we're really, excited about it, and
Okay.
it's a good project. And
there are other places. You said Naples are looking at doing something like this.
Naples is looking at it. Theirs is a little bit different, and they have a little bit more of a situation to deal with than we do, due to Lake Okeechobee and all the farming and everything that's taking place around there. Luckily, we don't,
they
we don't have a bunch of
problem.
industrial farming.
They have such a problem down there with that.
Yeah.
And fortunately, we don't think we'll get here. About a minute or two left. Anything else you want to clarify or just?
Well,
show?
I'd just like to thank you for having me here. It's a shame. I mean, this is a great project for the beach, for the low water community. And there's a lot of misinformation that's been getting out there through social media.
And that's why we want to bring y'all on firsthand, just hear it, because just hear firsthand from somebody involved in it and share the information and let people know what's going on. So.
Right. I mean, I want to communicate as much information as I can to people, and it's a shame that there's people out there trying to monetize on it.
Social media is that's the point we're all in now with all kind of in every situation we're in. It could be school board stuff. It could be city, county, or whatever. They can you're gonna hear some things not necessarily true. We're about out of time. They can call Panama City Beach office and
they can call City Hall or send me an email. It's michael.jarman@pcbfl.gov.
Okay. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
We've got to get out of here. Thank you, folks, for watching our show. We appreciate the viewership. You do something good today for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.